how to place the marks and the grades in the grade book at the e-learning. But still some people have some queries, some issues about how to apply it in their courses. So today we're just going to clarify these points. We're going to go over the steps again. And if you have any queries or difficulties that you met during your adding of grades, today inshallah we're going to clarify it. So basically I'm going to talk about how to reach to the grade book, how to set the grade book, how to add the items and category to the grade book, how to add the grades themselves, and how to download the grades. So the first thing before you start setting your grade book, you will need to look at your course specification, definitely. So you're going to set it according to your course specification. You're going to include everything except for the final exam, the final theory and the final practical part. So you're only going to include the out of 60 in the grade book, because you don't want the students to see the final mark, definitely. So to start with, you're going to go to your e-learning account. Okay, you're going to go to the administration. From there, you're going to go to the gradebook setup. This is how it will look like if it's empty, you didn't add anything to it. You're going now to start to add your categories according to your course specification, as we said. So start first with the first category, let's just say the quizzes. Okay. Then you're going to add how you want the quizzes to be calculated. Some of us, they actually take the sum of the quizzes. Some of us, they take the average of the quizzes. Okay, usually you prefer maybe to take an average, give them like 4 quizzes, and take the average of the quizzes. You will find here next to the question mark, it will tell you what does everything mean. What does the mean of grades mean? What the natural mean, highest mean? So if you're going to take the average, you're going to take the mean of grades. If you're going to take an average, make sure to exclude this box. So take it out, because you don't want to drop an empty grade. So if the student didn't attend the quiz, you don't want that he has the benefit that he didn't attend the quiz. So you better tick out this box whenever it's an average. Okay. You might be also you might give your student better chance by giving them, for example, 4 quizzes and taking the highest 3 quizzes, or giving them 5 quizzes and taking the best 4 quizzes. So you can go for this box and say drop the lowest one. So you're going to give them the highest, let us say 4 or 3 quizzes. Okay. After that, you're going to set the maximum grade. So you want your average to be out of 10, according definitely again to your course specification. You might want to hide the average until the end of the semester, or till week 13, or you might want them to see their average building up. So it's up to you. You can just hide the final average and just let them see the grades, grade by grade every week, or just let them see how they are progressing. So now we added the first category, the quizzes. Then we go for the next category. Let us say the next category is the competency, for example. So you can just add it. Usually many of us for the competency, you take like the sum of competencies, like you give them 2 competencies or 3 competencies, and you take the sum. So if it's the sum, it will be the natural. Again, exclude the empty grades. Maybe in the sum it will not make a big difference, but in the average it will. Okay. Once you make it sum, it will not give you an option of entering the maximum grade, because it's going to just take the sum, unlike the average. Again, here you choose the parent category. Definitely you want the course to be your parent category here, not the quizzes. Because the competency is under the course, it's not under the quizzes. So now you have the quiz as an average. You have the competency as a sum. Then if you have a lab component, the lab task would be another category. Just run over this. Let's go a little bit fast over it. Again, usually the lab tasks, usually they are averages. In this course, it was an average out of 15, the lab task. Again, the parent category is going to be the course category itself. So now you have the quizzes, you have the competency, you have the lab task. We're left with the midterm exam. Now the midterm exam is not going to be a category because there is nothing under the midterm exam, it's only alone. So it's going to be an item, it's not going to be a category. You're going to add a category for something that has more than one item under it. Like quizzes, you have maybe 4 quizzes, so it's going to be a category. The competency, you have 2 or 3 competencies, so it's a category. The midterm is just a 1 grade midterm exam, so it's going to be an item. It's very important to set the maximum grade properly. Now when you are entering, if by mistake you gave a student 20 out of 15, it's going to give you an error too. It's going to tell you that there's something wrong with your entering. So it's under the parent category, it's an item under the parent category. So if you have anything else like oral, presentations, you can just add them. So now you set your categories according to your course specification. Okay. I might want to make it clear to the students how am I calculating the quizzes. So I will change the name here of the total. I'm going to call it quizzes average. So when the student is looking at his grade or her grade, she will know how did you calculate the quizzes. Okay, did you take sum or did you take an average? So it will be quite clear for your student. It will decrease the number of queries they're asking. Okay, so if you notice here now, it became quiz average. Okay, so it's clear for him or her that this is an average. It's clear that the competency is the total of the competencies they took. Same thing for the lab tasks. I just changed the name of the category total. So it will be clear that it's an average of the lab tasks. Okay. Now we're going to see how to add items. Okay, how to add the items to the categories. So we'll start with the quizzes. Okay, you'll go again down. You're going to add grade item. Okay. And you're going to add, for example, quiz 1. Or if you want it to be also again clear to the student which one was quiz 1, you can add the name of the quiz. Okay, so you can call it, for example, quiz 1 tooth preparation. So that was the quiz about tooth preparation. It will be quite clear for the student to recall back his marks. The maximum grade they should take in the quiz, 10 marks, for example, so you're going to write it. Again, then this will prevent any errors in the entry of the marks. Now here you're going to choose the parent category to be the quizzes. Okay? So you added the first item, quiz 1, under the category quiz. Again, you can add quiz 2, quiz 3, and whatever the number of quizzes you're giving. Again, always make sure to choose the correct category. So now you have two quizzes, and you'll do this for all the rest of your quizzes. Now we have like 4 quizzes now. We added them. Now we go for the competency. You'll do the same thing for the competency. We're going to add an item. Competency 1, competency 2, whatever the number of competencies you're giving your students. So we're going to set the maximum grade again. This time we chose the category competency as a category. And so now let's say you are adding another item, another competency. And after you added the item, say competency 2, for example. And then you went to the grades. Instead of doing it's supposed to be out of 5, you did it out of 10. Accidentally, you did a mistake. Okay. Here, accidentally, you didn't choose the competency category, so you did a mistake. You just saved without going to the correct category. What are you going to do to correct this? You're going to see, now you see competency 2 became under the main category. You're going to go to this small little box over here. It's called Move. You're going to click onto it. And it will take you to this screen. Then you're going to choose where are you going to replace it. Okay, so now I'm going to place it under competency 1. So I'm going to click over here, and now the mistake is corrected. So now competency 2 came at the correct category, at the competency category. Now I want to correct the grade here. It was supposed to be out of 5, not out of 10. So I'll just press here and edit the setting. And I'm going to just go to the maximum grade and change it into 5. And just save the changes. So now competency 1 and competency 2, they have the same weightage, okay, out of the total competencies. We'll do the same thing for the lab tasks. Again, you're going to go for adding items for the lab task. The same way, you're just going to go and add an item, lab task number 1. Or again, you can name the lab task so that the student will be aware. This is the mark of which task exactly, rather than numbers. Okay, so you can just name it tooth preparation, for example, of tooth number. So I'm going to speak in terms of process all the time, so bear with me, okay? So tooth number 36, for example, 36, type of preparation, and so on. Again, decide what is the maximum grade. In the lab, I give them the maximum grade out of 20. I'll change just the category into the lab task, save the changes, and they're going to have it under the. So I think now it's clear how to add the items. At this point. So if you notice here, the total mark that I give them in the lab is out of 20, but the average of lab tasks is out of 15. So it's going to automatically recalculate the average out of 15. So it doesn't make a difference from out of how much you're grading them. It's going to do the calculations by itself. And you go ahead and add all the rest of the items. The good thing, if you did this preparation only once, okay, you can just, it's going to be the same setting every semester. So maybe it's the first time where you need to do all your setting your grade book, but after that it's just going to be there, present and ready for you all the time, unless you change something in your items. So now you had all your marks set, okay, all your items according to your course specification. Now we're going to go over the course total. Okay. Now I want my course total, or the out of 60, to be the sum of all of these categories. So we're just going to edit the main course. Okay. I named this course workshop course. You want it to be the sum of all your categories, all the things, because it's your out of 60. So we're going to go for natural. You're going to remove the box, tick out the box of exclude empty grades. And you're going to save the changes over here. I'm going to call it out of 60 so that the student will be clear for them that this is their out of 60. You can decide to hide it for now if you wish and make a specific date for it to show, or you can just keep it there shown for them so that they see their progress. So it's up to you. So here, as you see now, automatically the out of 60 became 60 because this is the total of the grades that you inserted. Okay. Now you can go to the grade report. You can see how does it look like. You'll find the students' names over here, and you'll find your categories: quiz 1, quiz 2, quiz 3, quiz 4, the competencies, the lab tasks, the midterm, your oral, your presentation, whatever it is, and the out of 60 over here. Okay. The student, if you want to see how the students are seeing them, you can enter into the student. This is a single student. Okay. This is what the student will see. So whenever you enter marks, they're going to be shown in their grade book, in the student-specific grade book. Okay. As I said, you can decide to just hide the out of 60 for now, or set a specific date for it, like the date of the week 12 or week 13, for it to be shown for them. Okay. Now, how do you add the grades? You have two ways of adding the grades. You can add them manually, one by one, or you might have them already in an Excel sheet and you want to just import them from your Excel sheet into your grade book. So to add them one by one, this is what you're going to do. Again, you're going to go to your administration, to the grades. Okay. And you're going to go to the specific task that you wish. Okay. And to say you want to add the midterm mark. Okay. So I'll just go here. I'll go to this pen where I do edit. And then we start to add manually the grades one by one. Okay. You can also place a comment for the students, well done, or you need to maybe work harder. Okay, so you can just give your student a feedback about their mark, and you just save it. and it will tell you exactly how many grades did you add. Okay, so if you think you have 27 students and you added 27 students and it writes for you 26, then maybe you want to go back and see who did you miss from your students. Okay, so this is how to add it by one, and this is how to import it from your Excel sheet. Most of us, they get the midterm exam in Moodle. So you download it from the Moodle, so you just want to copy and paste rather than add them mark by mark. So you're going to go, sorry, I'll just go back here. So you're going to go here to the grade, here, this part. Then you're going to go to import, paste from spreadsheet. It will take you to this page. You're going to go to your Excel sheet. You're going to copy the grades, including the title of the columns. Go here and just Control V, paste it. And go for upload grades. Now the next thing, you need to start to map. Okay, you're going to map your ID number, the student ID number, to the ID number in the system, in the e-learning. Okay, so for me here, the ID is under the column surname, and I'm going to map it to the system, to the e-learning system. In this point, you have like a couple of choices. You have the user ID, username, ID number. If you want to place the emails, you can map with the email address. Okay. For the ID numbers of our students, we need to map it with the username. I know it seems strange that it's supposed to be with the ID number or the user ID, but how they entered it in the IT, how they entered it, they entered the ID number at the username. Okay, at the column of the username. I personally, at the beginning, I tried to map the ID with the ID number. It gave me an error in 2 students. The rest of the students, it went fine, but 2 students gave me an error. I had to delete the students' numbers so that the rest of the grades can go. Then I learned from the IT that for some technical reasons, they had to place the ID under the username. So if you want it to be mapped correctly, you need to map the ID number with the username. Okay. And then you're going to map the grade. So I have competency 2 in my column over here. I'm going to map it with competency 2 that I entered in the grade book. Okay, so competency 2. I have here the quizzes, the midterm, the tasks. I'll go until I find competency 2. And I'll map it to it. Same thing for competency 3. I'm going to map it with it. And I'm going to upload the grade. You know that you don't have any problem or any mistakes. Once it gives you this green sign, that grade import is success. Okay, sometimes tell you there is an error. If there is an error, the errors that might happen is that, as I told you, the ID is incorrect, or you enter the grade which is more than the maximum grade you specified. And in the midterm, you decided that the midterm is out of 15, and one of the grade accidentally was 15 and a half or 16. It will refuse to import the marks, which is good. Like it will show you that there's something wrong. Also, you might want to do an online quiz in the e-learning, and you want the mark of the online quiz to go directly into your grade book without like you transferring them. To do this, when you're setting your quiz setting, the regular quiz setting, you enter the name of the quiz, okay? And then you go here to grade. The default is uncategorized for all of us. This is the default. So you're going to click into it and choose the category quiz that you already placed in the grade book. And now once the students, they take the quiz, the mark is going to automatically go to the quizzes, okay? So you see now a new column appeared. It's called online quiz. Okay, so that makes also your life easier if you're conducting an online quiz. Now, if you want to download the sheet, if you don't want to download it while it's empty, if you want to download it after you filled the grades, you want to have your reference, you want to have your hard copy, you can just simply export. you can just simply export you can go either from up or down, the same items are present. You can go for export, and you can export into Excel spreadsheet. You can export all the marks, all the grades, or if you want to choose some of them to export for a certain reason, you can just choose some of them. You download, and it will just appear in the downloads. You can choose even if you want them to be with 2 decimal points, with 0 decimals. Okay, you can just choose how you want it to be. And you download it. Okay. So this is how it will look like. It will look exactly like your sheet in the e-learning. The same categories, with the totals, with the averages. Okay. If you wish, you can just use this sheet to enter your marks and then download or import everything. Okay. So it's just basically this is how the sheet will look like. And I think that's it. That's everything.